The title of this episode is making me anxious, just,
Right.
We are going. I didn't see the title in the Zoom, but I can tell you for a fact, we are live on Myth Brigade here for Night's Black Agents. I don't have a monologue because I've been doing other stuff. Byron, it's your show.
Thank you guys for joining us for episode 2.
200, that is.
Someday we'll explain that. But anyway, welcome to Myth Brigade. We're super stoked to be playing and putting aside life's miserableness and playing with these great people, and of course sharing that with the wonderful world out there that tunes in, all like 4 of you. To watch us Babylon for approximately an hour to 20 minutes of actual gameplay of the 4 hours we play. But anyhow, we're going to be finishing up hopefully the flashback today, and people will be returning to their old selves. Well, maybe some of them.
Some of us.
But no, anyhow, we get a good story. The team has been chasing, of course, Carmilla Karnstein, the vampire that lives in Austria, who is on the run from this Edom strike force, and they're hot on her trail, leaving a wake of death and destruction. Well, I don't know. A wake's probably a bad idea, but a bad word for it. But, a small ripple of destruction and death. Well, that is if they ever find the bodies, because you guys are super spies and they're pretty easy to hide. So, real quick, just go around the horn. Brent Adams, how you doing? How's the Brenternet tonight?
It's doing good so far. We're holding
3 stars. All right,
3 stars.
Cool deal.
I'm well. I've been real excited for this. We've been back in olden times, well, not that olden times, for a couple sessions right now. I would really want to see how the climax, and see if we actually track down Carmilla, or we become a light snack for her. I mean, we'll see which happens. So
Factual.
How much will we learn?
Tyler's camera dropped.
Yeah, we lost Tyler's camera.
Dan, Mr. Mueller today.
That's right, Mueller. I will miss playing Herr Mueller. But I'll tell you, either Mueller's going down or Carmilla Karnstein's going down. I don't know which one's going to be, but it's going to be one of those two. So I'm looking forward to tonight's conclusion of the German Odyssey that I've been on. It's been excellent. I've enjoyed it.
It's been excellent. Yeah. And you're not even a Nazi. That's the best part. 1948.
Of course I'm not a Nazi. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. Tara Roy.
Really defensive.
Tara Roy.
Right.
Yeah, Varut. Here I am in my box henge.
Box henge.
Whatever.
Lots of boxes. Boxes on boxes on boxes.
Yeah.
Very cool deal. Jason, well, Bad Religion. Give us what is that?
Well, it's a band, man.
All of it.
It's one of my favorite bands, actually.
It's a
You
band.
don't know who Bad Religion is?
Yes, absolutely. It's a whole bunch of old punks.
Come on.
I'm good. Glad to be playing. Mr. Parton, a different Englishman with less severe problems than the one that I'm going to go back to. But yeah, life's good, man.
At least so far.
Hopefully, possibly. We don't know.
So far. And it looks like Tyler's joined us again.
Ooh, yeah.
Your camera kill or what?
No, it was like glitching out, so I need to unplug it and plug it into a different USB port.
With your new room and expanded.
Yeah. My pretty skulls and my gigantic beanbag that's literally from here all the way to the ground.
That's awesome.
And that's George. That's George over there in the corner.
That is George, my snake, or one of them. The other one's in this corner.
Gross.
Gross.
All right, awesome. So we were finishing up. You guys had taken care of your contact that you had made and done away with his body and hid that. Anybody else remember what was going on? Because I'm
absolutely fucking
no idea.
Where were we again?
A whole bunch of leads.
We were in Florida, right?
Yeah,
Florida, exactly, Florida. Mm-hmm.
We were visiting Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're the Florida section of Vienna. That's right. We were in the apartment room, right, where we just made our contact disappear because he discovered that we were actually agents, and that was like our number one thing was no one could know that we were agents of the secret organization. So we did away with him. But we do know that he has contacts in the red light district in town, if I recall correctly.
Yes, yes.
We were going to go, I believe, to the red light district to check it out, but purely for professional reasons.
Oh, just for research purposes.
Yes, research.
You're going to go there for the articles.
Yeah, you guys were at the Hotel Vordenberg. That's what it was. Hotel Vordenberg. And you guys were looking into a gentleman by the name of Franz Herbert, who no longer exists now. He has been erased from memory, or at least from his existence. And you guys were headed to the Demamonde, which is the Austrian kind of underground on the Russian side, because you guys were over on the Russian side of things. I remember you, if I'm correct.
Well, yeah, we're just
went in the
bunch of
vehicle.
nurses.
Yeah, right. So yeah, you guys go down into the thing and sort out some different things. What are you guys looking for as you go down into the kind of seedier district? There's actually a lot of buildings that they have kind of ways that lead to like underground railway tunnels that are no longer in use. That there are plenty of like homeless refugees and stuff like that amongst these people down here. Of course, a maze of stairwells that lead up into the Russian part of the city from here. The Russians have blocked off access from these tunnels to other parts of the city, but it leads up into different buildings and so forth that branch off of these tunnels that are open to the seedier side of town, kind of the underground black market. What kind of stuff are you looking for down here? Contacts, items?
I personally am looking for some healthy snacks, preferably vegetarian, if that's possible. Snacks, yes.
Always snacks.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad we got that taken care of. Let's go.
Yeah.
Who is our leader? Who is our leader of this group?
Well, I'm supposing it's me.
Herr Henley. So what is the plan?
Well, I believe that we are supposed to actually go into this den of iniquity and see what we can find.
Oh, I think that's a great idea. I think.
In addition to snacks, yes.
If I recall, there's a contact there, but we don't have much information on who this individual is. I believe our dearly deceased friend knew more about that.
What do we have to go on? Anything?
Not really much. You know that he had contacts in the underground. You know that he dealt with like some weapons and stuff like that because he did have some Edom contacts. You're able to dig up some information about his past files and stuff like that, which kind of give you hints of his contacts. But he was very, very secretive of the information that he did. Like he played things very close to the chest.
Do we have a book? Did we have a journal or something?
I don't think so. He had probably a book that he had like some scribbles and stuff in.
Like a ledger.
Yeah, like a ledger. It was like items like for purchase, stuff like that, like weapons, also like different things like climbing gear, gasoline, different variety of things that could be bought on the black market.
So Byron,
underneath even uniforms.
I would have kind of scanned that. And I don't know if I could use any of my talents to determine if there were any entries that might have been used as a placeholder for something else. Something that wasn't obvious. I mean, he's got like weapons and these other things. So, but did he write like, is there a line item for prostitute or a name, anything like that?
Let's see here. So that is going to be, what is that? What is the name of that?
Let me open the Black Book IO. I'll tell you. Plug.
Traffic analysis.
I do have. Do I want to spend it on that?
Yeah, you got that.
Yeah, I do. Do I want to spend it though?
So I will tell you that you can roll. There is further information should you do a spend.
I will spend 1.
If you succeed. Okay.
If I do a spend and I
This is
roll.
traffic
Is that what you're saying? If I roll and I do a spend?
Correct. Yeah, you choose to spend.
Okay.
But I will tell you that if you succeed and you spend, there is extra information.
All right. So yeah, I'll spend my 1, and I'm gonna roll a 3. So it's 4.
A 3. Unfortunately, that is not enough to
Can
pass.
2 of us attempt the same thing? I have 1 point of traffic analysis. If he comes up blank, am I allowed to try?
So yes, factually you can, because it's a spend and because it's a deal like that. Yes, absolutely.
I picture you're looking over my
would-
shoulder, chewing in my
what?
ear or something like. Why don't
You would in fact still have to spend though. You would have to blow yours also.
I'll blow it. Ooh, that is not German. That is Austrian. Look, see how the umlaut is with the little Claire right there.
You've got.
All right, I'll make a roll.
You've got mayonnaise on your hand or something.
And I roll.
Step.
I roll a 6.
Oh.
So there are 2 names listed in kind of. At first you think they're code, and then you realize they're not code. They're just weird, and then it hits you. So the first name is Alma Krill, Almacrio,
Mm.
and the second name, is Lacrima, Lacrima, Rocarne, Rocarne.
So
And very quickly you realize they're both like
Anagram.
jumbled up letters that say
yeah, anagrams.
Carmilla. They say Carmilla.
Yep.
So that's quite helpful. I'm surprised she had the pure hubris to actually leave such an interesting clue.
Yeah, and you actually remember the names of some of the children, the 12 girls that supposedly she had that were kind of like doppelgangers for her. They had similar names also. So these would represent maybe other ones. Because there were some that you saw back in the other, you know what I mean, in the criminal files and stuff like that. These ones would be different ones of the 12.
Do we have those, and can we compare? Does it like tell us anything more about them? No.
You don't really have any more information other than that they're tied to these items in the black market. So you're thinking that this contact area could be where he keeps an eye on them.
Okay.
Well, Henley, it seems that we have our lead.
Perfect. I suppose we can follow up on it, and I suppose we should probably try not to kill every person we encounter. My bad.
I don't understand. Why wouldn't we just simply kill everyone? That's so simpler, no?
Sometimes, perhaps.
We've been wasting a lot of time.
So far, either we have killed them or they have attempted to kill us. It seems like is the way of the thing. But as you wish, Henley. You are the leader. Let's figure out what we can do next. Perhaps we will survive this yet.
It's just so difficult to explain on the expense reports, all this materials for body hiding and
Yes, we go through sulfuric acid at an alarming rate.
lime. Yeah.
Sandwiches.
I say we let's go. Cover of night. Unless we shouldn't be at. Well, everything's going to be happening at night there.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are down in these tunnels.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, you're down in this area where the black market kind of exists. It's there's some music playing, and there are like barrels burning in the corner, and you can see a maze of different things. You can see like a guy who kind of looks like he's homeless, but probably not because he's got like wares and stuff for sale, and stuff like that. He's got some crates and stuff shoved up under like blankets and stuff like that.
If it'll help, I'll speak German and vernacular. I think I speak decent Russian, but I'm probably the best German speaker here. So if they're Germans, I'll speak with them as we go and try and pass us off as. What are we dressed as now? I can't remember.
Medical personnel.
Medical, yeah. I think
we might have to change that.
A couple of us are soldiers, and I think the rest of you,
Yeah.
right? Was it Henley and I that were soldiers? Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Sound right?
Right. I mean, you get some weird stares and stuff like that because you're wearing the Russian uniforms. This is kind of an underground in the Russian side, so they're kind of, you get long eyes, and then you notice like some bodies like slip off into the darkness and stuff like that as you walk around in the Russian uniforms.
Maybe look more
seedy.
seedy.
We could pick up some other clothes.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. Yeah, I was gonna suggest before we even go down there.
Yeah.
We'll just get some street clothes.
Yeah, you can find some like sitting. There's a guy that's selling. He's got like a pile of clothes. It looks like he might have picked up off the streets from different homeless people and stuff like that. And he's like trying to sell them for $1 or so.
Yeah. Do we have a decent amount of money for bribes and things like that?
I mean, you have some for sure. So, and of course, I'm assuming that the people you've met and stuff like that, especially the ones that you've done away with, you've collected.
No, for sure.
Money they might have had.
Yeah. Do you think we should try to reach out to the homeless population? They tend to see things. An attractive young lady would seem out of place. After all, the streets are hard, and so someone who's seems to be mysteriously immune to the ravages of living on the streets would definitely stand out as being odd.
Well, I don't know if everyone else here is, but I apparently am streetwise. So believe it or not,
nice.
I have a point of streetwise. If that'll help, I can spend it to help us fit in and figure out where our contacts are.
Yeah, every one of the characters has a point of streetwise too.
But mine's German.
You're not special.
It's the German streetwise.
No, I was just letting everybody else know. I wasn't trying to.
What if Varut dressed as one of the ladies of the night, a similar garb, dressed down a little bit so that she didn't look so polished, and so forth. Tried to look like one of them and tried to get information that way.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah. Oh, one of the guys kind of floats over to you and he's like, "Hey, I get in this area over here. Got some blankets in the barrel." Wants to kind of try to draw you back into the darkness a little bit.
Ooh, go get you a blanket there.
All right, let's do it.
Let's.
Back into the darkness. Oh wait, was he talking to Varud?
He's talking to me.
He's talking to Varud. Mueller.
So who?
You're kind of looking.
I look at him. You're not exactly his type.
So Mueller, you were kind of looking at your streetwise too, and kind of trying to see what was going on. And you see an area. There's a couple people, maybe loading some crates into the back of like this, almost looks like a hand cart, but it looks like the wheels are kind of like triangle, like they're made to be able to take upstairs. You know what I mean? Not to go on a ramp or something like that. And there are loads of things. And you see this girl turn around. She looks probably 15, 16 years old. She has like a beret that's kind of like sideways a little bit. And what tips your eye is her pale flesh. And you notice a mole on her cheek. And she's a brunette. And she's kind of part of that going on. You notice that across on the other side of the railway.
Quentin, do you see that? I don't really point. I sort of go like this. Hide my point.
I like it.
So I'll look over there.
Calling a timeout.
He's like Grape Ape.
You look over there, and sure enough, there's she looks a lot like that picture of Carmilla that was painted up in the castle. Nice beret down.
We must blend in.
You mean?
So that's going on. Varut, what are you doing with the guy that's kind of offering?
I'm a brunette, right?
You are, in fact, if you want to be.
What if I try to make myself up to look like that picture?
Like Carmilla?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can probably do that. So that's gonna be some disguise. Do you have that as a skill?
I'm pretty sure I do. Hold on, I had to reboot my Other computer. I think I
So
have a
this-
cherry.
Disguise.
Yeah, I have a cherry in disguise.
Shit.
Shit. Yeah, you got that. You didn't even need to make a roll on that.
So I'm gonna, do whatever I need to do to make myself look a little bit younger. Smooth the skin, look very light. I'm gonna get that mold perfected there. Gonna use some shoe black to darken my hair and make sure there's no lightening of it at all.
Got it.
If I've never done-
So he approaches you. He's talking to you. His barrel's kind of like burning behind him. You're kind of standing in his shadow a little bit, and he's kind of mumbling and making his move to kind of get you to come back in his area where there's sheets and kind of bookcases that have been made to make barricades and stuff like that to kind of make sectioned off areas of this open space.
Okay, I follow him as if I know what I'm doing.
Okay, yeah, he kind of takes your hand and kind of leads you a little bit. You walk past the barrel a little bit. He turns around. And he sees your face. His eyes get like gigantic, and he's just like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And he gets down on his knees and he's just like begging for forgiveness.
I kind of just tell him, just stand up. It was an honest mistake.
He's like shuffling backwards across the ground away from you.
I scold him a little bit and say, you need to be more careful.
Yes, mistress. Yes, ma'am. He just kind of like on all fours, just like crawls into the back area of like behind these in the shadows.
So he's like out of the room.
Yeah, he like goes back deeper into this area. So I mean, what do you do?
That's a very good question. What do I do?
Your friends are out there. This guy's going deeper.
So while that's going on, I'm going to kind of get Henley's attention to alert him to the little girl that looks like Carmilla across the train track.
I'm like,
without going like, not doing that.
do you imagine? Do you think a double or?
There's only one way to find out.
Yes.
Did that guy? The guy who reacted to Varut? Was he also in the presence of the other one who looked like Carmilla?
No, they're on opposite sides of the so you're on kind of like I said, this is like a railway, like an underground railway, but the train is gone. So you're on like one side of the platform and you can see across the railway over there in that area. It's also sectioned off kind of like with barricades and tarps and stuff like that. You can see that action going on where they're loading these crates that kind of look like military crates on this hand cart. And there's some other individuals with them. What's Parker doing?
Yes, I'm gonna tell Quentin, go get Varut. It's like we're going to need to shadow her for a while.
Okay.
So I'd have been watching Varut since they're watching something else. I would have been making sure that I got at least a line on her so that things don't get too fancy back that way.
Yeah, you see like Varut's gonna go off with this guy, and then he starts to go, the lighting changes, he turns around kind of like he's casually looking back to kind of smile at her, and his whole appearance changes, his demeanor changes, he becomes like almost like he's worshiping her and he's like backing away and apologizing. He's really like showing deference by being on his hands and knees.
I think I'm going to crisply approach him and I'm just going to kind of do a 180 and start no, I'm going to be kind to him at first and kind of just a little bit brusque and tell him to get back to work and tell him that you remind him that he needs to be more careful in the future, but that it's a mistake anyone could have made if they weren't paying attention. And then as he starts to relax, I'm gonna like switch gears and and just like become another personality
Whoa.
and tell him that incompetents like him have no use here in this operation, and that I should take care of this problem right now, and that he's lucky that I'm just going to make him leave the room and just order him out.
I am sorry. I am so sorry. I've disappointed you. He's like,
Get out of here before I change my mind.
he's like, I give to you the only thing I can give you that may count. And he pulls a Luger from his pocket and points it under his jaw and pulls the trigger.
I pull my hat.
Okay,
problem solved.
I pull my hat down and kind of lean against.
And the gunshot kind of rings out over the area. And
I'm going to watch the girl and see what her reaction is to the gunshot, but I'm sorry to interrupt this one.
no reaction.
Oh, that is very telling.
Well, I think we found our mark.
Does everyone around her kind of jump and then she's just like sedate?
A little bit, and she's just like
Happens
just
all the third one
still
this
like
week.
ordering, or I mean, technically it does kind of happen all the time, but that's not the idea you get from this exchange.
I sort of signal to Varud. Can I make eye contact with Varud as she's looking around and kind of trying to see?
She hasn't, because you were having an eye on her.
Yeah.
So yes, you could make eye contact.
So I would
with her.
just kind
It's
of
difficult to see her because she's kind of moved back in the shadow of the area.
Yeah. So I kind of throw up a hand signal to be like that, our mark, and then point that way, based on them, them kind of their conversations. Yeah.
Is there like a door or a curtain or something that I can close on this area?
Yes, absolutely. There certainly is.
As if I know what I'm doing, I quickly draw it closed and then quietly start looking under the blankets.
Okay. You find a German Schmeiser kind of stashed underneath one of the things. It looks like it has a clip in it. And also a variety of like old photographs of like family members and stuff like that. Maybe you would think they seem to be like well respected, like the way he took care of them, like he gave some sort of reverence to them. And you find
the guy that just shot himself.
Yeah. And you also see a stash of money, like a stack of bills that's kind of wadded up and kind of has some not a rubber band, but I guess a piece of string tied around it.
I pocket the photos and say a little prayer for his soul and for his family, recognizing that he's probably doing this for them. And is there anything else, any paperwork, anything like that, any pictures that
Not
of
really.
anybody else?
No, it definitely doesn't look like this guy had any kind of paper trail or anything.
Right.
What he was doing.
It's just a guy on the street. No clues as to where he picked this stuff up or who he might have been selling.
You would
to.
assume some sort of scavenger where he's just kind of picked things up from wherever. Maybe even bought it down here.
Not a very smart one if there's a clip in the gun, but okay.
You're right.
I take one of the blankets and cover him up with it.
Yeah, you already pulled the. I assumed you were on this side of the barrier, so because he was taking you back past his living quarters,
Right.
so I was assuming you're on this side of the body.
Right.
You
So
pulled the curtain between you.
No, I was pulling the curtain between the other area and.
So you were
And-
staying on the side with his body.
Yeah.
Okay, so that would actually block Parton's view to you.
Okay. Yeah, and she pulled the curtain
Okay.
after he shot himself.
So-
Right?
Yeah, I wanted nobody to see me going through his stuff.
Oh, okay, got it. Yep. No problem. I misunderstood. I apologize.
So after I've rummaged through things, I make sure one of the blankets covers him up.
Yeah, absolutely. You could do that for sure.
anyone else around Varut and that area at all, or is it pretty empty?
No, it's pretty empty in this particular area. I mean, there are people that are kind of wandering around, like you can see them further down. And I mean, there's probably about 20, 25 people down here. I mean, it's a good amount of people for only, 300 or 400 feet worth of tunnel space. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, there's probably 4 or 5 stairwells that lead off of this up to the above ground levels.
Is it no one else spots Varut during this whole time? I mean, not that.
No, because she's kind of back in an area, so no one's really laid eyes on her.
I'm just. Did somebody go and get her to let her know yet?
Yeah, I'm right here by the door.
Right.
I'm just waiting.
I'm
waiting for her.
As far as we know, Carmilla is continuing to just load up this truck, correct?
Yeah.
I kind of pull
I mean,
pull
it
the
only
curtain.
has like 4 or 5 crates. They start walking at this point because it's only, a little bit of time has gone by. And they have 3 or 4 crates. She's kind of pointing at the guy. He's walking towards one of the stairwells. She kind of looks around a little bit and then begins kind of following behind him, maybe 15, 20 feet behind him. And she's kind of following.
Peel the curtain back a little bit.
I'm
We've
just going
got to go.
I'm just going to be like, yeah, we're gonna have to shadow. I mean, I'm assuming that Varut will catch up with us at this point. So
Are there any like small weapons that are interesting?
There's a Luger that was in his hand.
No, other than that one.
Oh, no, there's like a baseball bat, maybe that's broken. It's more of a club than a baseball bat. I was like, wait a minute, I slipped into like America. There's not really a lot of baseball bats in Austria, but a club.
It's a cricket bat.
That's a cricket bat. Yeah, I think that's more
All right.
like Britain.
I'm gonna take the Luger and any ammunition I find for it.
Are you grabbing the Schmeiser too, or are you just leaving that underneath the?
Do I have a way to hide this miser?
I mean, you have a jacket, I'm assuming, or a shawl.
Well, sure.
Or there's jackets and stuff. Like I said, the guy was selling like, different clothing and stuff like that. So, I mean,
Yeah,
you can
sure.
kind of
I'll
grab
do
a
that.
little
And thinking to myself, Henley's going to love this for Christmas.
Nice. All right, yeah. So you, like I said, you see them kind of walking away on the far side of the platform, going up, leading towards the upstairs. You guys are
Henley, do you realize, from what Varut said, either she was very lucky and ran into the only follower in this place, or it's that everyone here follows her.
That's why we're not going to go loud yet. We're going to try to isolate her if possible.
Well, she's going up them stairs is what she's doing. Look. I point at them, starting to walk up the stairs.
And it's just like Byron, this is like a building. I thought she was going downstairs.
No, she's going upstairs. So there is, like I said, you're kind of on one side. You picture a subway tunnel. With
Okay.
Access on the far side, 3 different stairwells, 2 stairwells on your side. You're looking out over the drop down there. You're on one platform, and there's like this, sprawling, like, I don't know, tent city almost there, homeless area. Same thing on the other side with like almost stalls or personal areas on both sides. And from the other side, like I said, they had that part. There were 2 individuals. One kind of walked away and went further down the tunnel a little bit. But you can see down the tunnel, it's been caved in. But the Russians have caved in to keep anybody from like leaving the Russian side of the city.
So again, I'm going to prep my MOS. This is the way I read it anyway. So my MOS is going to be when Carmilla figures out we're tailing her.
Okay.
Or when that girl, I don't know if that is Carmilla, but what? I'll define it as Carmilla, the real Carmilla. Whenever she figures out that we're following her, then I don't know. I guess I'll get a spidey sense.
So, what does it do? One more time? Can you tell me?
It's like the way I read the MOS is that it sounds like I sort of set a condition for my sense trouble. Yeah, it sense trouble, and that's
So-
Henley's MOS. So basically, I'm gonna try to be like, oh, I want to try to have it keyed off of.
So do you feel
Carmilla.
that Carmilla that you see across the way is Carmilla, or do you feel that could be a doppelganger?
Yeah, actually, when the bullet went off, I'm pretty sure it's Carmilla.
Yeah, with the bullet thing. So I'll key it off of that girl I saw. Then I'll just be like,
Okay.
Once she realizes that we're following her, hopefully my MLS will let me know
Okay.
that we're burned.
Okay. So yeah, so you see the cart goes up, and she begins to go up the stairwell. You guys
All
are
right.
still on the other side.
All right, everybody, spread out,
Right.
and let's try to follow as best we can.
I'm gonna try
You guys
to.
are going to jump down into the railway lane.
Oh, she's there. Okay. Oh shit.
She's on the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. I mean, we're basically gonna have to try to do it as casually as possible. But
There
we're
is
gonna
like
have
a wooden bridge further up, maybe 100 feet up. There's like a little wooden bridge that's been built like on boxes and stuff like that.
I mean, this is intensity.
Yeah,
Would be too unusual
mean,
to cross the
And
train tracks.
honestly,
No.
90% of being in an area is looking like we belong there. So we just look like we belong there.
Okay.
And we go across and try to.
Yeah, you guys kind of jump down or go across the board or however you go, and kind of. I'm assuming you're not all in one big group.
No.
Just
Yeah, we're
like all the whole group gets down and goes
Arm in
hold
arm.
hands and shit. Like you guys are waiting in line for the Magnum or something, just like going across, and you guys make your way, and you kind of make eye contact with each other as you begin to pull yourself up on the platform or cross over to that area. And you see the one guy, like I said, he kind of goes into another little stall area further down the thing, and Carmilla has vanished into the darkness of going out of this underground area.
Is it possible before she disappears in the darkness, can Mueller use his hand-to-hand cherry to spend a point and see how tough the opponent is in hand-to-hand combat? Like, how tough is she?
No, just because of the fact that she was already across the area from you. By the time you got over there, if you made chase at her and caught her in the stairwell, then yes, or saw her in some sort of hand-to-hand combat. If I read it right, I think the combat is like when you begin engaging in hand-to-hand combat, you can. No,
I'm pretty sure that's not. Give me 1 second. I have it.
Okay.
I have
not
it
sure.
for.
If I can't do it now, what I'll do is
Lily.
basically kind of like Henley. I'll say, I'll watch her, and as soon as I'm able to make that estimation,
Yeah, once we get a clear view of her, that makes sense.
because if it turns out like from her hand to hand, I realize that she's a wuss. Like, oh, Henley, it's a double. But if it turns out she's a badass, well, that's just how many little girls like that are going to be like,
Yeah, so the
really
way it
go the
works,
way.
it just says if you have a hand-to-hand rating of 8 or more, you can spend 1 hand-to-hand point to assess your opponent and determine his toughness.
Your
The
opponent.
director
So your
it doesn't
opponent.
say when. Yeah, she's our opponent at this point.
Isn't it likely that a double wouldn't have been standing there giving orders, right? I mean, she was.
Yeah.
yeah.
It depends on how entrenched they are. I mean, you could be desensitized to gunshots. I mean, we just
Yeah, that could be the whole point of a double, is so that she doesn't ever put herself in harm's way.
So it says the director will tell you if your opponent's hand-to-hand rating is within 1 point of yours, lower than yours, or higher than that. You don't tell me exact. It could be 2 lower. It could be like.
Right.
I would also offer that they followed the route when she was disguised as this woman, Carmilla.
Bueller,
so
what is your
they follow
hand to hand?
Hmm?
What is your hand to hand? I don't have
My hand to hand is 8.
8.
Yeah, but you know how she is with disguise. Mueller, she looked the part.
You get the idea that she's probably slightly lower than yours. But the way she carries herself, the way she kind of walks in a defensive stature, leads you to believe she does have some sort of skill.
I communicate that to the group. Do
Well,
we
I
think-
don't think a doppelganger would have close to Mueller hand to hand.
I suppose anything's anything's possible. Seems unlikely, but yes, that's a good point.
From the signs we've seen so far, I believe it is her.
Yes, I am inclined to believe it's her as well.
So I think we should
And
give
in fact-
chase then. Yeah. Should we not let her just go off into the darkness?
We can't. I mean, unless we want to get made, we're gonna have to let her get a little bit ahead of us, no matter what.
Just
if
take
you
her
want
in the dark alley.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna have to trail her into the darkness. As not fun as it is. Keep your eyes on the ceilings.
Yeah.
Follow the little vampire girl into the dark alley.
So
Good luck!
you do know from your descent down into this area that the railway station stairwell kind of goes up and has a platform, then it goes up, then it has a platform, then it goes up again. And each one is about 30 feet. So it's about 100 to 120 feet up. And the one you came down was very poorly lit. It had like a red light screwed in the light bulb, and some of the light bulbs are actually out. So it's a very darkened area for sure.
We do have torches, correct?
It does not have. I mean, you don't have them lit because you'd be walking around with a torch. You look like an idiot. But
Oh no, by torches. I mean, we have flashlights.
but you have them, yes. You probably have some sort of flare also. But you do know that it's most likely walled in, only one escape route, and it's about 100 feet.
She went with the wheelbarrow, right?
The wheelbarrow went up first.
Okay.
The
so we
wheelbarrow
can
and the guy
listen
went
for
up
that-
first, and then she kind of waited a few moments and goes. So you
we
would
can listen
guess
to that triangular wheel that must be hitting the steps pretty loud, right?
it's not really that loud. It looks like it might be. You would have been able to make out that it was kind of padded to not make a lot of noise. But they were probably wooden blocks or metal wheels that had like some sort of rubber or something put on it. Maybe pieces of old tank track or something like that, or road tires that have been strapped to it. Some sort of invention to make it more quiet.
I bet that's full of dirt. The crates.
Ooh.
That makes sense.
You didn't get the idea they were dirt crates.
Nah.
You got more the idea that they were probably weapons.
So
Like they're more weapon crates, like maybe stolen Russian weapons or even weapons.
So
from
Carmilla
other-
is an arms dealer then. Wonderful.
You could gather that. You could gather that slightly from the information that you have from the little bandit
Explains the
notes
car
there.
as well, right? And the castle.
I'm sorry?
I said explains the car and the castle as well. The money.
I don't know that it necessarily explains the car. I mean, she's a baroness, so she would have a shit ton of money.
That's true.
She owns a castle. She owns a freaking castle in Austria. She's probably can afford a car.
So she's
Don't all Austrians have castles?
yeah.
Not all, only like 98%.
Yeah. There's that one there's that one or two families that, they only have estates.
All right, so you would guesstimate by the amount of time that you have been kind of figuring things out, and that she's probably at least made it to the first landing going up, and the amount of zone between her and the cart probably is about 2 landings. So the cart should probably be getting to the top of the area. She's probably about 60 feet behind the cart. So she's got about 60 feet to get to the top of the stairwell, and you guys are about really right outside the doorway of the stairwell.
Okay.
Is there anything outside?
It goes up into the city. You're not sure where.
We're going to lose her.
We're just going to have to follow her directly. It's the only way.
Well, unless, I have an 8 in athletics too, right?
But it's like we can just listen for her footsteps and stay somewhat behind.
So my MOS is in athletics, and I'm thinking about parkouring up the outside. And
That's actually a great idea.
You park her up
Parkour.
the outside and pin her in the stairwell?
We'll shadow her in the stairwell. You get a bird's eye.
You know what would be
I
amazing?
I just want to get ahead and find a place to hide where I can observe her.
Well, what's amazing, there's no way
Probably-
you've had time to get out of disguise, so you're going to parkour up there and then probably be face-to-face with her in disguise as her. That'll just be...
And confuse her followers.
That'd be great.
I'm just
They
while
might do
I'm
nothing.
climbing, I'm just gonna rub the mole off of my cheek.
That's a good call.
Who has the bomb?
Oh, well, it's me, of course.
So you can parkour and make up some speed with athletics. The problem is she'll already be upstairs by the time you get up there because you have to get to the other stairwell and go up separately.
Mm.
But she wasn't running. She
Yes,
was
I
only moving.
mean, she's not rushing, so we can make up some time very quickly.
She will probably be at the top of the stairwell for several minutes before you arrive.
Of course she's not Russian. She's German.
She's not running. She's a Russian.
We'll do the best we can, right? So we go.
Okay, so you guys just okay, we know she's going there. We're going to try to cut her off. Immediately zip to the other stairwell and up as fast as you can.
Yep.
Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, but if we hear her footsteps up ahead, we'll slow down a little bit.
You won't hear her footsteps at all because you guys are in a separate stairwell.
Does it make sense for somebody to
yeah.
bring up the rear so we're not all trying to face off against her, all charging out of a stairwell?
Yeah. So you would imagine what you'd be coming up in the city would be like two stairwells at the same station.
Yep.
Would probably
But she'll
come
be
up
across the street,
on different sides. No, they're not across the street. They'd probably be on the same side of the street.
Okay.
So these two stairwells that go up, if you choose the other one, you're probably going to come up probably 50, 60 feet from the other stairwell.
So I'm going to bring up the rear.
They kind of face each other like this at the top.
I'm going to stealthily bring up the rear so that whoever goes in the front, there'll be somebody on the back in case it gets weird. She'll have a flank.
So we're just gonna get this bitch, or we're just gonna follow her around?
We need to follow her back to her lair because we'll be at a severe disadvantage if we fight her in public. I mean, we look like a bunch of assholes trying to murder a
I mean, it's pretty dark. It's pretty dark and not that populated right now.
Yeah, no.
You're in dark stairwell.
The key is we must get the bomb in within explosive distance of her. What
I
the
wanna-
hell is the killing range of the bomb?
I want to try to destroy her coffin with her in it. I mean, it's a bit of a gambit, but fighting her inside of a darkened hallway with her strength feels somewhat like we would, at least one of us or two of us would die in that effort. So,
But
No one's
may I
willing to
ask, what is the
sacrifice
radius
themselves?
kill of the bomb? Is it 10 feet? Is it 20 feet?
it's an artillery shell, so probably like 30 something feet. I don't know.
Depending on how it,
Well,
what kind of enclosed space it's in when it goes off.
True, and
The
not to-
105, it's
And not to mention, I got my cherry that makes it even nastier. So
yeah.
it's gonna be
The cherry doesn't say you
amazing.
survived though. That's it
No, that is fair. All
just
right,
says
so,
what the killable distance is.
so
If we follow to her headquarters and Vorette puts the mole back on, Vorette could possibly get inside there and plant the bomb without her knowing it. Her entourage would let her pass. It's just a thought.
yes, if we can find her headquarters, that would be ideal. So let's. I don't think it would benefit us fighting her right now if we can
Okay.
avoid it.
So
that's my
so I'm gonna assume that Varut gets to the top. Who else has like a high athletics? Or is anybody else?
Everyone has like an 8.
Yeah, everybody has at least a couple.
Everyone has
Is it
a
really?
I got
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
6.
because you guys have mountain climbs. So
yeah.
90 athletics.
Yeah, we got jacked up on that mountain climb.
Man,
We
this
did.
little cheat sheet that I have does not have all the important stuff there. So I'm so unprepared. Yeah, get it. There we go. 8. God damn, you guys all.
I got
have,
a
like,
6.
8s. Everybody has an 8, but Parton, who's coming up in the last anyway, has got a 6. Okay, we'll do. All right, yeah. So you guys all get to the top of the stairs, probably within a good, 120, 130 seconds, 2 minutes of her getting up there. Parton, you're probably 60 feet behind them. kind of following up the stairwell, making sure no one's coming up behind you, stuff of that nature. It's dark, of course.
And I'm coming up the stairwell that she went up, right? So I'm coming up behind her. Right.
Oh, okay. You went up that stairwell.
Yeah, so I'm trying to stay behind, but I wanted to have a flank on her as my friends come out, so we're not all right there together. She doesn't have any place to go.
I understand. So they went up a separate stairwell.
Mm-hmm. And they would be coming out in the same station, you said, right? Side by side, basically.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So so you reach the second platform, the one platform if you're coming down from the top. You can see her vaguely at the top of the stairwell. It's dark outside in the city itself as it's nighttime, and you can see like there's not really a lot of street lights or anything, but you can make her out, at the top of the stairwell. She's not looking down the stairwell at all. She doesn't feel like anyone's falling or anything like that. And the rest of you all get to the top of the stairwell, and I'm assuming you don't just blare out onto the street. You kind of like take a pause at the top and kind of look, to the right to see if she's coming out there. There is an old van that is open, and it has looks like they're putting the crates into this van.
I'll make a mental note about Varut that she has a Luger in case I see the two of them side by side, so that I'll know which one's Varut.
Yeah. Oh, she got rid of them all. Varut got rid of them all.
Yeah, but you never know when she's gonna pop that thing back on, and then you have no idea.
Oh, man, that's true.
She does have a pocket.
Well,
she's got a pocket full of moles.
The one you saw had a beret, and Varut doesn't have a beret.
That is the title of this episode.
Hats.
Pocket full of moles.
Pocket full of moles.
Pocket full of moles.
Understood.
I'm going to Miami with
That's not bad.
full of moles.
So I'm up there first.
Yeah, you're up there first. You kind of glance around the corner, and you see them putting the whatever the crates are into the.
All right. I want to, maneuver in such a way as that I would be able to follow and not be associated with my group.
So the first thing that you have as a problem is if she gets in the van, you have no vehicle.
Yep.
Following
that up. Following her might become very difficult.
Relatively impossible. Very
I have what is the cherry for driving? I have 8 driving. What is the cherry for driving?
I think it allows you to steal any vehicle.
Is there any vehicle here I can steal?
There's another vehicle on the street. Yeah.
All right, we continue our shadowing.
So the other vehicle on the street is like one of those like foreign small cars. It's like a little 2-door Yugo.
Like a Mr. Bean car. Sweet.
Actually, it's probably a Volkswagen Bug.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah.
Thankfully, I've played Tetris for 7 years. We can do this.
Yeah, because if you don't know this, the Volkswagen Bug was actually created as a four-man's car.
The cherry,
Adolf Hitler.
The cherry for driving is you can spend 1 driving pool point to steal and start any standard civilian or police vehicle that you can drive.
Hell yeah.
Armored limousines, super luxury cars with digital keys, and other extraordinarily secure vehicles still require an infiltration test to boost.
We could go. We gotta just clown car it then. Basically, this is gonna be real uncomfortable, but
I guess.
Oh God.
We're gonna play contortionist.
I don't know what you mean, Henley. This is a Volkswagen. This is the people's car. It is completely comfortable. Air cooled. Not this liquid injection bullshit.
Is there any way I can climb onto this van or this transport vehicle without being observed?
That's exactly what I was going to ask.
Quite possibly. So you do notice, like I said, the guy puts the last crate in the car, and you see Parton. She walks out of your view at this point. You kind of scamper up the last 30 feet, and you're kind of looking from the shadows, opposite from them, and you see she pulls out a cigarette and puts it in her mouth and lights it and begins taking a few wafts up of the cigarette. It's like on one of those like long spindle type, I don't know what they're called, but yeah, she she's on one of those, and she kind of takes a few drags and blows out the smoke, and then she begins to get into the passenger seat of the vehicle.
So Byron,
the other guy kind of walks around.
Can I see her in the distance? there?
Yeah, you can see her. She's probably like 30, 40 feet from you.
So I when she lights her cigarette, right, and it illuminates her, I pop open my mirror and hold it up and just kind of glance. What do I see standing next to the van?
You see her
She's not
in the mirror.
But that's not unheard of, right?
It's not. You're not sure, but yeah, it's not unheard of. But it would be rare.
Rare.
It would not fit the data that you have.
Fuck. She's not the right one.
Going into this, you had an idea of her.
Is there street light or anything like that I could use to signal them with using the same mirror?
So you see the vehicle, like I said, she gets in the truck or she gets in the van, and you can see the old guy kind of walk around the other side. You see Varut basically kind of like sneak up and kind of climb onto the back of the vehicle, and she's kind of holding on to like the side rail of the back of the van.
Nice.
You kind of make eye contact with Varut as she's standing on the top of the thing.
I do this. I point at my mirror and do that, and hopefully she gets like.
So give me a streetwise roll to avoid flashing her with the mirror, because you're kind of distracted and you're not paying a lot of attention to what you're doing. You're more concerned with what's in the thing than reflecting the light, because you know when you drink a mirror around like this, it reflects that light.
Where is streetwise on this character sheet?
I don't know. So it's like the middle left.
Oh, I see. I wrote over it making notes. I'm gonna do a spend on that just so I don't fuck up. But I rolled a 6 this time, so I got a 7.
Okay, so you avoid flashing her with the mirror.
You avoid flashing the child.
Yeah.
Job part.
Right. That would have been my other character.
He would have avoided flashing.
It's like I'm going to whisper to you. I'm going to be like, well, actually, I'm gonna be like, we should still follow her anyway, because she might know where the real Carmilla is anyway.
We're on opposite sides of the station, right? So I came up one staircase. You guys came the other way.
I guess actually I don't even know.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I'm gonna take a very quick bio break. I'll be right back.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Can we all take like 5 minutes?
Sounds like a small plan. Oh, say shit, Jason.
So Thor Godinson, I'm going to just answer your question. So this is a flashback sequence. Our main campaign is when is it set in? 90? No, it's in 2000 and something.
2012.
Yeah, 2012. This is set
2012.
flashback
right
in
before
48.
drones were invented.
Yeah. This is set in a flashback that we have entered into because we opened something we shouldn't have. And so it's set in 1948. We've assumed different identities. So we've got Henley.
To be fair, the decapitated Nazi told you not to do it.
That's true. I mean, who doesn't listen to the advice of a decapitated
He wasn't the best,
Nazi?
best with information.
Yeah.
Maybe he was.
Yeah.
What?
What's up, buddy?
It's nature break time. Nature break. We need a nature break song. I'm gonna find a something.
A nature break song.
Yeah. Bathroom break song.
Can't the bidders like record that for us?
Yeah, you gotta make one.
The bidders can record a nature break song.
Bathroom song. Yeah, there we go. Let's see what we got. The bathroom song.
Give me lovins. I don't care if you're on a nature.
Ooh, this is learning good manners for kids. All right, we'll do that while we're on the bathrooms.
Here's my kitten. Getting so big.
Girls and boys, Jack Hartman here. Listen up. Here's a few things that you do and don't do.
Sorry.
When you go to
I couldn't
use the bathroom.
help it.
Here's what you do and you don't do. When you go to use the bathroom. Here's what you do.
Here's what you do.
When you go to
I didn't write
use the
it.
bathroom. You do get permission from your teacher to go. You don't walk fast or go too slow. You do use the bathroom so you feel better. You don't play by yourself or with others. You do use your manners and wait your turn. You don't push or pull, you could get hurt. You do use the bathroom to go one or two. You don't stay there.
Yeah, you definitely have to have this ready every time. Every time we take a bio break.
This is for Thor. So this is what is helping me become amused by this song.
You do knock on the door to be polite.
Man.
You don't just walk in.
I'm just using the pure shitty part of my personality to love this song.
I like that Dan's using the Dan replacement background.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I love when he like sets it and then walks away.
Ooh, let's see if. Yeah, they're new. This is a friend of mine's band. It's Killing Addiction. So look them up. Killing Addiction on Extreme Music. The song's called Prophecy Armageddon. It's from their new record called Mind of a New God.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sounds kind of hot.
If you didn't have to pee before.
Name.
It's a little different than the bathroom song.
We can't hear it.
Oh, you can. Nice. I think the stream probably can. I don't know. We'll see.
Can't hear it at all.
All right. I think most of us are back. Varud is taking an extended bathroom break. And I didn't have to go to the bathroom until I played that song. And now I do. So.
And now I have to. Jeez, you ruined everything.
I know. But are we on for Monday for Deadlands, I think? Are we on?
I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see if Len and Mike are up for that. Oop, there's a Jordan just let me know that Free League has a source books for Tales from the Loop and Symbaroum, or however you say that, Humble Bundle. So search for that on the internet.
Nice.
Go buy that.
I love Tales from the Loop on Amazon. That was awesome.
I didn't watch it. I guess I should. It's very Stranger Things sort of vibe. Kids solving situations. Yeah.
Yeah, if you ever watched Fringe,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a little fringy.
Cool. I like that.
Strange things happen. Very cool.
I just saw the text about Block Squirrel and Red Rocket. I was trying to send a different text. I'm like, what? Out of context.
I can tell everyone is so prepared for that game that nobody responds to the.
Well, Dion was like,
everyone.
Yeah, Dion was out super sick. So, and James and I talk all the time, so he knows what's going on. And Eric is, I mean, you couldn't even get him to respond to a lottery winning ticket, man. He's hard to. If you're watching, Eric, which you're not, because you fucking go to sleep at 7 and like an old man.
Hey, don't knock on going to bed at 7 p.m. I do that shit every
As
day.
long as you don't not getting up at 7 p.m., I'm good.
I do that shit every day, man.
Yep.
Hey.
Alrighty, we're just waiting out for route now.
Yeah, that's right.
Route. All right.
So I try to I kind of flash in that mirror around, and I realize what I'm doing. Maybe I see this sort of glimmer up high that they don't notice. I'm like, damn it, pardon. Tuck it back in my tuck it back in my lapel. But is there a way? We're out by the street. Most train stations have connections to the various hallways up top. Could I haul ass around to where they are to try to communicate what I saw? Because we don't have radios or whatever, right?
No, because so both of these come up into the outside.
Okay. So it's like street
these are the
tunnels.
entryways.
Okay, I got it. And the only
It's like
connecting
street.
tunnels.
This
down.
pretty much comes off the street, down the thing, into the tunnel.
Okay, got it. Shit. And there's no way to sneak past.
There's
the
no
van.
real station up ahead.
And there's no way to sneak past a van or anything.
Yeah, 'cause
like
it's
that.
the
line of sight.
No, the trains were free, so they didn't require anyone, in the town to have to pay.
I'm sorry. Do we have line of sight between us?
Yeah, you can see. If you look down the thing, you can see.
Okay. If I see Martin, I'll use my finger to start doing hand semaphore.
I make the I want to cut your fingers off response. No, I'm sure that we have, since we've sort of been companions for a bit, have some kind of internal hand signals. I hand signal that this is not our mark.
Oh. I whisper the rest of you.
I'm gonna hand signal that we have to go after her anyway. What other choice do we have?
I think he said he wants Chinese food and he wants to blow up something with a bomb. that is. So So
I just gesture that we have to go after her.
Well, until Varut says she got off, she's on the back of the van.
Yeah, and then I
so we're just kind of waiting for Varut to get back
to
learn all of this information.
Varut is about to feel the engine turn over and the wheels begin to move, and then she has her choice.
Shit.
In this part, to get real.
I don't want to leave Varut.
Nothing's gonna stop.
Yeah. I mean,
then as Stone Cold Steve Austin says, business is about to pick up.
Since it's one of her lookalikes, Varut could handle that. I wonder, Bye.
So I've learned that my community has a healthy population of skunks.
Did you get sprayed?
Oh,
you went to the bathroom outside?
I ran to my car to get something for work tomorrow, and there's a little bit of lighting, but not like on the sidewalks or anything. And the first dark streak with a white tip tail, well shit, okay, disturbed somebody. And then the second one, and then there were like two more right in front of me at the same time. I was like, oh my God.
Did you roll for initiative?
Now I know why this.
No, I fled.
Yeah.
I retreated.
Nice.
I went around to the garages instead because that was
like, oh shit.
Suddenly, I don't belong.
Yeah.
There were two that were just like, they ran out in front of me across the sidewalk, and then they were sitting like right next to the sidewalk, like at the edge of the bushes. I'm like, I don't want to walk past them.
It sounds like they set you up for the same maneuver you guys just set her up for.
Right. It seemed very familiar.
Like, wait a minute, I've seen this before. It's a trap.
If you see one of the pouring towards you, run.
So you feel the engine turn over as you're standing on the bumper, and you begin to feel the wheel, the car move away, or the van move away from the curb. It starts to like turn out into traffic. You see Barton directly ahead of you, who was like flashing the thing going like this, and you kind of look back and you see Mueller and Henley and Quentin back behind you. What do you do?
Who's the closest to me?
Barton,
How far is he?
20 feet.
I mean, I guess I hop off.
Okay, so you kind of get off and kind of
Yeah.
hide yourself from the rearview mirrors and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that there was some good intel that we might have been able to have, but whatever.
Okay, the car begins to pull out into the road, and you can hear the gas pedal pushing. What are the rest of you guys doing?
I'm just like Mueller. Get us a car. We have to follow no matter what.
Jawohl. And I will start using my superior motor skills to drive.
Yeah, there's like that little beater Yugo on the side, or VW Beetle on the side of the thing. So.
Oh, I thought we were already in the VW bug. No.
You can be. You can be.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I would assume you wouldn't try to steal a car in their rearview mirror.
Oh yeah, while they're still
While they're still there.
I mean, you're a hell of a driver. You can catch up to anybody.
Yeah, I had inferred that we weren't in iShot, but yeah, so definitely we'll stay at iShot. Sure.
All right, yeah.
I'll pick up Martin as well.
Pardon, with a P. So
pardon. Sorry.
I'm kind of winded as I run up. She's got a reflection. It doesn't match your profile we looked into before coming out here. It's a double.
So I picture like, Mueller is driving. There's already two people in the back seat. Someone's riding shotgun, and they're kind of like, you know how your buddy always did that? Like he just held the seat up for you to get in the back.
Yeah.
He did that.
As you pile in, I'm just like, it doesn't matter if she has a reflection or not. She's obviously an agent of Carmilla if she's not Carmilla herself.
Right.
I mean, what else could she be? How many 16-year-old girls do you know that have massive combat training?
I don't know anything about a combat training.
Perhaps an agent of Carmilla.
I just know she's not a vampire. So what I'm saying is we ought not to kill her.
It's just like we can make her talk and then decide if she needs to go.
I didn't kill the last guy. He killed himself.
Is it possible that Carmilla turned some of her duplicates into zombies? Like that thing we fought in the wine cellar?
Oh, God.
I fucking hope not.
It's something to consider. That's a possibility as well.
Did I get a feel for the combat rating of that thing that almost killed Lorette?
Yeah, it was probably higher than you.
It was higher than me. Okay.
Mm-hmm. You would say that she has the combat ability level of maybe even somebody that's in some sort of resistance or something like that. She's not super.
I explained to the guys that she seems to fall into the category of a resistance fighter.
The issue that comes in, so to kind of break this down into game mechanics and kind of maybe give a better explanation of the thing is, so while your cherry allows you to judge the hand-to-hand combat, so vampires have this category called aberrants, and they can spend their aberrance rating to increase their stats. So they spend those aberrance points to raise their hand-to-hand and become like, even more stronger in certain things. So while you could judge a vampire's hand-to-hand, that doesn't mean that's what's going to stay.
It doesn't mean it's their max potential.
Doesn't mean it's their max potential. So now if they have a high aberrance, then they're going to be ridiculous. If they have low aberrance, then they're a little lighter on figuring stuff out.
Perhaps she has an aberrance reserve. Maybe
right. So even if she had like an 8 hand-to-hand, she could still possibly be a vampire. She just may have an aberrance that she's able to spend on top of it. So this group of characters would kind of know.
Henley, we should follow her. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. We have no other choice. It's either that or back to wandering the city.
All right.
All right. So the truck kind of makes its little. You hear kind of go off, and that typical, unique sound to a VW Beetle. It's like
yeah.
As it rolls out the side, and goes on. So you probably pop the trunk and put your bomb in there because I'm sure you don't have,
Yes.
You're not sitting in the back seat of a VW Beetle with 3 people with the 105 shell.
VW bug, so we pop the hood. The trunk is where
it's in the boot, right?
Right,
yeah.
That's correct. So I was gonna say that'd be the greatest TPK ever.
That would be hilarious.
Hey, at least we can get back to our regular fucking bodies.
Assuming it works that way.
That's funny.
All right,
That's
so
true.
the car moves forward. The van doesn't even go more than a quarter of a mile, and it arrives at a train station.
What the fuck?
And it just kind of pulls to the side, and the driver stays in the vehicle. The door opens. Carmilla gets out. She opens the side door of the van. She like unzips like a bag, and she puts several of the weapons and stuff in. She's putting some of these weapons into this bag, like a duffel bag.
Interesting.
Wants me to run over her with the VW.
I'm sorry? You cut
I was
out.
talking to Henley.
Okay.
Asking Henley if... Sorry, my accent's a little heavy, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't understand it.
I said, do you want me to run over her with the VW?
You don't have an angle where you can hit her with the car.
I can find the angle.
Eh,
Yeah, that's your MOS.
It is a small
vehicular
vehicle.
homicide.
It's like I am actually tempted to test that out, but we need to talk to her if we're not sure that she is
That's
actually.
right. You said not to kill everyone.
She's about to get on a train, and now what? Do we confront her? Or what?
As you guys are looking up ahead at the train station, there is a massive amount of people at the train station. Like, now that the Russians seem to have lifted the ban on travel from one part of the city to the other, or even out of there, this train is getting packed with people. She zips the bag shut, kind of slings it over her shoulder. She has a little side bag also as she begins walking towards the station.
Does she seem pretty small of stature?
We're going to have to wait.
To have a giant bag of guns.
Yes,
right.
I mean, if she's trying to leave, that fits the MO of Carmilla herself, trying to leave the city.
Right.
It's like we have to waylay her in some fashion.
And so
perhaps what she.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, she's small, right? And she just put a whole bunch of weapons in a bag, and she's just toting them like they're nothing.
It would look like it's heavy, but maybe she has some practice carrying.
Okay. Okay.
You wouldn't necessarily be like, well, that's way too strong for a 14-year-old to carry.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure if I run over her and she survives, she's a vampire.
I do have a practical. I mean, this is not exactly practical. If we can't waylay her, we can stop the train from leaving.
I'm just picturing 5 people piled into a VW bug with a 105 shell in the front, and the first thing that is thinking is vehicular homicide of a vampire.
Uh-huh. Well,
have you ever tried to floor a VW bug?
Right.
I got an 80 drive. So
what do you say about some of us just sabotaging the train, making sure it can't leave?
I'm not keen to kill innocent Austrians.
I'm not. I mean, just making it so it can't leave. In other words, going ahead and destroying some essential parts in the
I'm
in the
not
front.
exactly sure how long it is before the train leaves. That'd be a massive undertaking.
I mean, a bomb on the track would fuck it up.
Yeah, fuck it up. And it's the people, as Mueller said.
I mean, it's a little bit. I mean, it's louder than I was wanting, but.
I mean, but seriously, you could accomplish the intended act of preventing the train from leaving by going down the tracks. You can go down the tracks a significant ways that to a safe distance so that it harms the track, but not any people.
But then I've lost my bomb to kill Carmilla with.
Do we really think the bomb's going to kill Carmilla?
What if this is going to sound weird? Now follow me here.
Because none of this other shit sounds weird.
All right.
No, so far everything else is very normal.
Why don't we just confront her in the train station? It's extremely public.
She's
Well,
walking.
it's extremely public.
She's walking
Yes.
into the crowd right now. We should probably just maybe stop
Just
talking
get out.
and just.
Yeah, let's just get out.
That's gonna take a
And-
minute by itself. Here, let me get out of here. I gotta get out of the bug.
Pushing my seats.
All right. Out of the bug, and I'm gonna go. Pull out the backpack with my bomb in it.
Okay.
And I'm going.
Pop the hood.
I'm like, so do you want me to actually? Do you actually want me to blow the track? Is that what the decision is, or are we going to try to stop her in some way, or even just talk to her? And ascertain, like Jason's character, who I have no idea what his name is because he won't change his name on the thingy.
I thought I had.
I know.
I'll change it.
It's Parton.
Pardon. Like Dolly.
Parton.
It's,
Every week I have to write his character's name down on my sheet. So
I thought I had changed it. I'm changing it now, fuckers.
that's Fuka to you. Fuka.
What if we if you don't believe that she's our target, why don't we just talk to her? For real. Just be like, hey, it's like we're looking for someone who looks like you.
Where's everyone else who looks like you at?
Yeah. I mean,
other than me.
I mean, if she gets violent, then we're not in any worse shape than encountering her in a different situation.
and there's people all around. She's not going to get especially freaky, right, with people around if she has.
That's my hope.
Unless, most of these people already worship her, and then we have to fight those people and her.
Are you implying that an entire train station of people all love a vampire?
Not the entire train station, but at least a handful of them.
You're arguing again. Let's go.
How about we send Varut back to the truck where everyone believes that she will be this person? She can then question them and find out information.
Right.
Or we can just take the little fucking girl and stuff her in the back of this fucking car and drive off.
I'm just gonna.
I don't give a fuck where the trunk is.
Come on, lads.
We can stick her in the car with the bomb and drive the fuck off.
All right. Everybody agree that we can just approach her and see what happens.
Yes.
I think that's exactly what we've agreed.
We're a bunch of big motherfuckers, and we're gonna shoulder our way rudely.
What's up, kid?
Boom! Fuck you! Boom! And knocking people aside. I slap a little girl out of the way, and we surround her.
Wait.
No, wait.
What do you think are the public optics, the optics in this train station, the five of us cornering this 15-year-old looking girl?
I'm going to be kind of off to the side in that. I'm not going to be stomping up like fucking reservoir dogs up in here. I'm gonna be off to the side.
Well, I mean, we're not gonna. That was mostly a joke. We're not gonna actually surround her, but we'll do a loose confrontation.
But no, if you think about it, I can picture this in the camera, dude. It's just like when Jason Bourne was running from the guys in the train station, dude. It was like perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or the airport, for that matter. It's so spy thriller.
Yeah.
So it's so fitting. So yeah, you guys managed to kind of spread out and kind of get around her a little bit, and with ease because you're skilled at that shit. And so like a little opening breaks out, and who's on the other side of her?
Like behind her?
No,
behind her. No. By other side of her, do you mean behind her?
In front of her.
In front of her? Since it was my plan, I'll approach her from the front.
Okay. With your big 105 kilo satchel.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Fuck.
She kind of locks eyes with you. A bag full of guns in one hand.
She used to be excited about your necklace.
On the other. And she kind of locks eyes with you, and you kind of lock eyes with her. And,
does she look aggressive already, or she looks like like
the way you might think?
Like cold, steely eyes, any sense of fear?
She doesn't look like that, but definitely on the level of like another spy or like an agent or something like that, where you get that kind of like knowledge, like she knows what you are, not necessarily who you are or why you're here, but she kind of knows your profession.
You know what I love?
That you're a professional.
So Henley's standing in front of her with a giant shell on his person.
It's in a bag.
I love this.
It's my luggage.
It's carry-on artillery.
It's my carry-on bag.
Carry-on artillery.
I'm just like, my dear, are you aware that you look like someone who's very important?
Oh God.
She kind of thinks about it for a second. She says, "I'm not who you think I am."
Well, I already am assuming that based on other things. The question is why. Why do you look like someone that important? And what do you know about where I could find that person?
She's like, some things are just meant to be. She kind of reaches down and begins unzipping the bag.
That's not gonna work.
It's like that would be an incredibly poor choice.
Can I see her using some preparedness? Can I be ready? Okay, so I'm gonna pull my weapon out and just kind of slide it inside my coat so it's at the ready as this exchange is happening.
I don't see any reason why we couldn't all walk out of here completely intact.
My character's equipped with a sap, so I'll have the sap handy.
And I'm off to the side.
Sap.
I'm off to the side. I'm not right there surrounding her. I would say I'm a few people kind of in the mix so that she doesn't even know I'm there, hopefully.
So is anybody watching the crowd or anyone around?
Me.
I would be because I'm in it.
Yeah, everybody's spread out.
Yeah, I'll be kind of looking around, yeah, for sure.
Varut, you're kind of watching the crowd / the train because you can see the train up ahead. And in the window of the train,
Fuck.
you see a girl that looks very much like Carmilla.
Nice.
Is it arriving or is it leaving?
She locks eyes with you.
Oh, she sees me notice her?
She sees you notice her, and her reaction is just like quick. She like moves from there to like the next window over with almost a blink.
Is the train arriving or leaving so I can picture this in my head?
Getting ready to leave.
Carmilla
I don't see that. Yeah.
So wait, this is a train that's arriving. I mean, I don't know this yet. But
No,
this
it's
is
leaving.
arriving
It's
or
leaving. It's leaving.
Well, we done goofed. All right.
No,
so,
we could get on the train. Get on the. But do we know that? I don't think I know this. Varut noticed it. So what does Varut do?
Not yet. So
Yes.
it's like, so.
And you hear a guy like the guy with the ringer or whatever, and it's like
Your final call. Last
he's like,
call.
final call for Munich. Final call for Munich.
I signal to Henley that whatever signals that we have prepared, in a way that tries to communicate that Carmilla's on the train.
So I turn my head and look back at fake Carmilla, and I'm just like the really wise thing to do would be to turn back around and go out that gate right now. It's like things will work out better for you in the long run. As I slowly start to back away, I have my hand on my pistol as I'm like as I start to back into the crowd towards the train.
I'm watching her. I'm watching her movements.
I just say, think about it.
I'm watching her movements.
And I'm gonna do my awesome spy movement through the crowd and start heading there. I'm assuming everybody else is gonna do that.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
Did
So
we
you
all
guys
get
are-
Varut's message?
What?
We all knew what Varut said?
I mean, I don't know if you could all see me. I positioned myself to communicate with Henley, who's got the fucking bomb.
That's why I'm asking Byron if we all could see that or if we all know.
Between each other, you could cycle, symbols to each other.
Okay.
So as Henley turns and starts kind of rushing toward the train, like moving through the crowd, I'd be moving on the side, but I'm keeping her in my periphery. Does she stand down and walk away and let us haul ass, or does she pull out that weapon?
She kind of moves to the side.
She doesn't pull out the weapon and start spraying or anything crazy. All right, so I'll turn then. I'll slip my weapon back in its holster and haul ass through the crowd to get on the train.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna get on the opposite side of the train, so we have both. No way. On the other train car.
If you want to get on this train, the only way to get on is on this side. The other side's not open.
I meant that another door, like the door to the left.
That's
so
fine.
we could be on both sides of the train car.
Yeah,
got it.
Is more what I meant than the opposite side.
Understand?
Oh, fuck.
Yes, absolutely. You can get on the back side.
So we can pin her into one train car.
Okay, yeah. So you get in there. Henley, you're the first to the train. You pop into the same car that she's in. Varut, you arrive directly, like around his time. Do you go in the same car as Henley or to the right?
I'm gonna go to the right.
Okay, so you get one car ahead of her. Mueller.
I will go to the right as well.
Okay, so Mueller and Varut are one car to the right. Henley's in her car. Quentin's in the car behind her. Parton.
I'm going to go where the bomb is not. So I'm going to go to the right.
So you're not getting on the train?
No, I can't get on the No. But there's different edges of the car, right? So I'm going to go where the human explosion device here.
We'll say you're with Quentin.
Yeah, that works.
So we have Quentin and Parton in the car behind.
Okay.
We have Mueller and Root in the car ahead.
Henley's the one with the
Henley is in her car with
a bomb on his chest, though.
4 other people and a 105 shell strapped across his chest.
I'm sorry, Byron.
Just a tiny bomb.
Okay. That works. That's actually even better. I'm not gonna. I was picturing it differently than what I just realized you're saying, but no, it's fine. I like that. It works out even better. So.
Okay, so I'm assuming that you guys attempt to go in the doors of the other car, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so from both sides. So, just in that typical spy movie, that the train begins to roll, the doors close directly behind him. You hear them slap shut as they go.
Fuck.
He's kind of like in the backside of the car a little bit. There are like
this
4
is not
other
where
people.
I expected to fight a vampire.
Me neither.
There are 4 other people, including a priest who's holding on to like the stand-up thing.
Awesome.
And he's got you can see his priest collar. The Catholic priest is kind of standing.
You're going to be
there.
needed.
And then I picture Parton and Quentin kind of getting on the back car, kind of opening the thing as the train begins to speed up, moving along. And kind of coming in the backside of the car.
I'm going to pull my crucifix out from under my shirt and lay it on my chest. On top of my shirt.
On top of your shirt? Right. Do you think it helps you better there if she can see it? Like, all right, cool. Henley, you lock eyes with her. There's a Catholic priest and 3 other people in the car.
I'm just going. I'm just going to.
This is a joke that you tell in a bar.
I'm going to be like. Why? It seems like I only saw you just minutes ago. Long time no see. It's been quite the merry chase, hasn't it?
She says, "You were following me?"
Oh shit!
Notice.
You're a lying motherfucker.
She begins to take a few steps. She begins to take a few steps forward as she moves gracefully. And she kind of reaches her hand out and kind of strokes your cheek a little bit. And she says, "There's no need for us to fight." She says, "We can all just get along."
Oh boy. Boom!
I sincerely.
Oh god.
Hey, give me 1 sec.
I swear, this visual, this train cruising along, and that middle cart just. Yeah.
Heavy bass plays.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm trying to uncouple the car.
Okay, nice. I love it. Barut wearing the hooker's outfit.
Yeah.
Attempting to uncouple the car.
You can see the headline in tomorrow's paper.
Oh,
Prostitute.
wait, somebody got on the right-hand side with me. Who was it?
I did. I'll assist if
Yeah.
you explain. Yeah.
It didn't mean it wasn't funny though.
I'll keep the other priests off you since clearly you're in a hooker's outfit.
Here we go.
Is there any way, Byron, I could have a point of preparedness spent to know that was Varut's intention, so that I could do the same on the first, so that her car would be by itself?
Why would you not know that was my intention?
I would
You
think
get down to the car with her with the bomb, and that's the only
Yeah,
thing we could be doing.
we'll attach the back first, so we go a little bit, so we glide away from the back, and then you'll detach the front, so we're just kind of in the middle.
Wait a minute. Let me think about this.
I'm immediately going to work on that.
Is the right side who's in the front of the train as it's moving forward?
The right side is the front.
Shit.
So Mueller and Varut are in the front.
Varut's about to undo, be like, ooh, and then we're back here with the bomb. We fucked up, Quentin.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yep.
I learned one saying following this group: always go with Varut.
That's kind of true, actually.
If that were,
when we would have had some sort of conversation or signal about this, right? I mean, to me, this seems like pretty obvious spy stuff that we're going to try and uncouple the car to minimize the collateral damage here. I mean, that's literally the only thing left, other than blowing something up immediately, is separating the car from the rest of the train.
Although, I mean, frankly, that's why I was trying to buy time, to see if I could buy us time.
So, Henley, your one hand is in your pocket, where your gun is. And
it's actually on my kookery, because
your kookery, yeah. So
there are ladies present.
You think it's on a kookery? You think it's on your kookery?
Is that a kookery in your pants, or you having to see me?
That's long.
Okay, you think it's on your kookery, and then you feel something in your hand. You unwillingly, unknowingly pull your hand out of your pocket. You kind of glance down at your hand, and you see a shot glass.
See your own heart as she rips it out of your fucking chest.
Damn.
A shot glass. The shot glass that your father and you used to drink whiskey in. You remember it. You lock eyes with her, but it's not her. It's your father.
Luke.
And he says,
it's
time for a drink. She said, it's time for a drink. You know, the thing we do every holiday. And he has like a little bit of a he has a little bit of an Irish kind of trill to his voice.
It's my
As he
people.
looks at you and he says, you remember, like old times. And then the face kind of shifts, and it's like a member from like your old unit, the guy you hang out with all the time back in Britain. You're soulless. And he says, it's okay, Henry. It's all right. It's just what has to be done. All you have to do is share a drink with me. You want to drink with me, don't you, Henry? Give me a stability roll.
Ooh. Oh, damn. All right. Darn it. Stupid.
It's so true.
I don't know why it kicks me out of my own character sheet every once in a while.
It's a trap. It's a trap.
That's right.
All right. Stability. I can spend stability, right?
You can.
Yes.
Which
It just makes your next stability roll harder.
makes sense.
If you have to make one. Or when.
If you ever have to make one.
Oh, okay. So if it says I have an 8 stability, does that change the difficulty, or do I? It's just points to spend.
That's how many
right?
points you have to spend.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna spend my lucky number, which is 4.
Spend 4. Fuck that. All right, roll.
All right, let's do it. I got max 10.
Woo! You're like, bullshit.
He goes all country.
Bullshit.
Bullshit.
You realize, wait a minute, that's not a shot glass in your hand. That's a fucking kukri. And then as your hand strokes the 105 shell, that's bag. It brings you back. It's your stability. It's your knowledge.
It's your stability.
That you have all the power.
5 shells.
Stroking your shell in your pocket.
Write it down.
It's not a 105, and you poke it. You just happy to say me.
I'm gonna fake it for like a second more, be like, yeah, the shot glass, and then I'm holding the kukri in a reverse thing. I'm gonna try to bring it down on her neck.
Okay, so you attempt to get closer to her.
Oh, I thought she could caress my cheek.
Yes,
she was caressed.
She caressed her cheek,
but
she was approaching him. She was.
I thought it was.
I thought you said she caressed his cheek.
Yeah, me too.
See, in my mind, I thought that she moved it so gracefully, and was like up against me, like, and I'm like,
she was coming your direction. So if you go with it, you're gonna be right there.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so I basically I pretend like I'm under her effect, and I'm like, well, of course, I'd love to take a drink, and then I try to bring the kukri down on her. This is going to go disastrously,
Byron, for
I'm
the
sure.
cinematic.
But this is going to be so much fun.
Byron, for the cinematic, what's the priest doing?
Now.
The priest is in there with them. What's this look like to him?
Well, the priest is kind of observing what's
okay.
He's just like Mary, Mother of Jesus. I can't believe this is happening.
Now just say 10 Hail Marys, you'll be fine.
Say 10 Hail Marys.
All right, yeah. So you bring the kukri down on her cheek, and so give me I guess a weapons roll is what it's going to be.
Weapons roll.
While he's rolling that for the stream, picture this: you're a Catholic priest. Say what you want. And so you're standing off to the side, and this dude walks up and slashes a 14-year-old girl across the face with a kukri. That's another day at the office. That's so good.
That would be a 7.
All right, give me a die roll to go with that.
And that's just a D6, right? For the die roll for the
D6 plus 1.
Plus 1, thank you.
Would be damage.
Okay, gotcha.
As like a knife.
I do 6.
So were you targeting a specific part of her body, or were you just trying to stab her? I'm assuming it's like a downward stroke. It's a downward stroke.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to hit. I'm just trying to hit the most flesh I can.
So like clavicle, like here at.
You're trying to decapitate her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what kukris are for.
Yeah, you should be trying to decapitate her, right?
Yeah.
We're holding up signs through the window. You can see it.
So you swing down.
We're texting you while you're doing this.
You swing down as hard as you can. You shake the vision of your father. You shake the vision of your dude from your unit away from you. You swing down. It chops into her clavicle, and the kukri bends.
Oh shit! You are dead.
Fuck.
We are so fucked.
We are so fucked.
I'm just going to be like you. It's like, die, you slag, and I'm going to.
And so you slam her into the clavicle. The kukri bends. She grabs a hold of you.
Oh boy!
She kind of glances at the priest. It says, "There's no reason to pray." And she throws you as hard as she can. Varut and Mueller are trying to like unhook the pin of the car as Henley's body comes through the fucking door.
Oh!
slams into the door behind. His body like breaks the mirror of the car behind, the glass of the car behind. Like part of the glass is kind of sticking through his shoulder, and he's just like,
oh.
She's tough. She's tough.
And you take 9 points of damage as she throws you through the car door.
Oh.
Yeah, let me see what I'm dealing
with. And Barton, you're like pulling the pin. You pop the pin, And as the car begins to roll away behind you, you look through the window, and all you see is the Catholic priest go. The look on his face is crazy, and you see Henley's body fly forward at full force, going through the thing, and you see the bent kukri kind of coming up like this away from him.
Toward me or away from me? Like
away from me.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually,
so I'm behind her
really, really hard, Henley. So I'm gonna need you to roll an explosives check to see.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Just how stable that 105 shell is. Because you've been fucking with it a little bit. Trying to see
That's true.
So wait, she threw him into our car?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yes, Martin, we chose right.
You guys are standing between the cars.
Yeah.
Because you guys are standing on the sides
we're
of the
right.
thing.
We're at the coupling.
Yeah, but on opposite sides.
We're on the car in front of it. We're at the coupling. Yeah.
So he came through the door of her car, and then into the door behind, but not all the way into the car. So he's on the back of that car train that you're trying to pull the coupling.
He's in that hole with you guys.
Yeah.
Right.
But
He went through both doors. He went through the one door and hit the other.
The glass and metal of the door is like through his upper torso.
Okay. So I can spend points. This is almost like hey, how well did I build? How well did I rebuild this thing then? Right.
Yes, correct.
So I can still spend points.
Absolutely.
Okay.
This is the time you can choose not to die if you want.
All right, perfect. All right, my lucky number is 4.
Yeah. Still.
Don't you dare roll a 1.
You watch.
1 would be great. A 1 would be great right here. So like blow up Mueller, Henry, and Barut all in one shot.
No, I actually rolled a 6 straight up.
Oh, nice. It's the weight of the shell just kind of like goes into your chest, and you're like, oh, fuck, that hurt.
I'm just going to whisper to you as like blood dribbles down my face. I'm like, hey, take the bomb and blow the bitch up.
Mueller picks up the bomb if he can.
Yeah. So the strap is kind of caught on the what used to be the door frame.
I will. I mean,
you can cut it free though.
I'll just pull the bomb out.
Yeah, you just flip it open.
And yeah, is it like a button trigger?
You'd have to ask Henley.
I made it so that any of the group could use it because I wouldn't be dumb enough to make it a thing that only I could use.
But is it a button? Is it a timer? How does it? What's the way it goes?
Shit.
Is it a button timer? Like you hit it and how long?
It's a button timer. So basically, you can set it as low or as high as you want.
So there's a dial.
Set it to 0 seconds.
That means it's gonna go off right in your
hand.
Well, no, I haven't pushed the button yet.
What do you fucking do?
What are you trying to do?
You said it's a button, right? I gotta push the button and then turn the timer, right?
No, you turn the timer. Oh shit! No, I don't know. That's
all
up
right.
to him, man.
I will then hold the dial, approach her. When I get within close, I'll go to 0.
She's not on the same thing as you.
He can be. He can walk in there now.
Yeah, he can get in there. Yeah. I'm sure.
There's no door. There's no door anymore.
Yeah. I pick up the bomb. I look at. I say, Varut, help Henley into the next car. I say, this is a job for a German, and I step into the next car. And I
title.
So you start approaching her. As you walk into the car, you're holding this thing. You have the trigger in your hand. She looks at you and she says,
I can't hear
you. What did she say? You broke up.
You cut out.
We couldn't hear what you said, Byron.
She said, time for a snack.
Time for a snack. She bites into the Catholic priest, chucks his body to the ground. His crucifix just kind of flanks on the deck of the car. As Barton and Quentin, what are you guys doing?
I'm gonna fucking run for that crucifix, and I'm gonna stab that bitch in the back because we are behind her. She's focusing on a Mueller, and I'm just going in and not realizing that Mueller's gonna blow us both up, but I'm coming in hardcore.
Holy Fuck, what do I want to do?
Meanwhile, I'm back on the thing. Can I use my athletics, Sherry, to since I didn't use my MOS to get out of the subway station, can I use it to get the pin out?
Yeah, I mean, you can pull the pin. That's not a problem. You guys weren't really
Great.
having much trouble with the pin.
Pin is pulling. I'm pulling the pin.
You don't have to spend your MOS to do that.
And I'm communicating to them to hop on.
Mueller went forward. They're all the way at the other end of the car. There's no way they can reach you before the cars will separate. So you have to make this choice. Are you staying
Unless I
with their
wait for
car?
them to get up here.
The car's gonna. You already pulled the pin. You're not gonna be able to hold the cars together.
I mean,
which car am I on? If Varut pulls the pin, am I going with her or am I staying on this one?
Currently, you're stuck to the other car.
Yeah, you'd be
because
slowing
you're on
down
the
now
floor.
because Varut and them were on the forward side of the train.
Okay, so if she pulls the pin, I'm going with Bomb.
You're going with the car
going with
that's
the
still
car.
there.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You're going with the
Back in
train.
the first car, and stuck in the second car.
You're going to Munich.
We're off on the road to the Munich.
with the bomb.
That's right. With bombs and friends along the way.
okay, so I'm sorry if I'm confusing things here, but if we're not having any problem with the pin, why didn't we already have the pin out since Mueller and I were working on the pin?
This is just all happening at one moment.
Okay.
It's all happening. You're going to get the pin as the door closes,
Mm-hmm.
and he walks forward to her.
Well, you're getting in the car as he's walking forward to her, and the exchange begins to
Right.
happen between them. You and Mueller begin pulling pins. You have to walk into the car, then you have to go out the door to in between the cars to pull the pin. Does that make sense?
I guess, but I mean, Mueller was already helping me, I thought.
He is.
He was, but now he's got the bomb and he's going on the other train.
That's the point.
When-
is she's
so-
pulling the pin, he's helping, and now he has gotten the bomb off of Henley's corpse, somehow gotten, or not corpse, sorry, you're not dead, but walked around Henley and is now charging the vampire.
Right,
I
and
did say to you, Varut, if you could help Henley, because he's kind of embedded in it, but you may not have heard me, so it's all cool.
I did.
Right.
right.
Okay,
so
but
you can
if
still you can choose for the pin not to be out yet.
Well, that's my question is that
Yes.
if we didn't have any problem with the pin, then it would already be out because we had already started working on it.
It's just
So
a
is it in or
multi-step
out?
process. It's just it just takes time. You can choose right now if you want the pin to be in or out.
Well, I would then choose for it to be in,
Okay,
because I haven't communicated anything to my party.
you're going.
Okay.
You have it most of the way out, but not fully out.
Okay. Then I'm trying to communicate with them that we have the opportunity to get the pin out and separate the cars.
So you're seeing the back of Mueller as he's walking forward with the bomb. You can
Yeah,
see Henley.
I'm-
Henley is bleeding right next to you.
Right. So that leaves Parton and Quentin.
Right, which are back of their ways. You see Parton running like this with a crucifix in his hand.
Right. So I'm just going to be there with the pin, and I'm going to communicate to Mueller that I'm waiting in that position until further instructions. Basically, what I am hoping happens is that he sets that thing to about 15 seconds and lets it go when those two get close enough to him for him to communicate to them. They can get onto my car so that we can all be on the car and then separate right about when the bomb goes off.
Do
Sounds
I
good.
get all this? Do I get this all?
I would
I mean,
say that
that's-
you get all that.
All
I mean,
right.
it's a pretty.
I turn to you and I say, Varut, I'm not coming back. And I go,
Oh shit!
Okay.
You were going to say that.
yeah.
Well,
So
I mean,
all this is go ahead.
fine, then communicate to the others. Will
So
you
you
communicate
see-
to the
I
others?
feel like we have a lot of time for dialogue here.
You see Mueller.
These are like 2 lines. I mean,
Come on, man. In every spy thriller, there's all kinds of dialogue where shit happens. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
So are you pulling the pin or not before I take my turn?
She has not pulled the pin.
I have not pulled the pin.
You guys.
Last I thought I was telling him to that I would wait there for the others to get out because it seemed obvious to me that we would try and get everybody back onto my car before we pulled the
right. And he
pin.
said he's not coming.
Well, I'm still not like leaving you all there, so I'm holding.
Well, right,
civilians,
the pin is not holding.
Not in that side of the car. Your side of the car.
Yes, I know
the pin
ours was pulled.
Okay.
Yes,
that car is now drifting backwards. What are you doing, Quentin?
So he steps on, says he's not getting off.
He turns back.
You
hear him tell Varut, "I'm not coming back." He turns back around. He's got the 105 shell with the trigger like exposed.
I'm stepping off the back of the train.
You're just diving in the fucking dirt.
Fuck every moment of that. He's at the 105 and he's going that way.
All right, partner.
Later, man.
You're coming with the crucifix, dude. Make a roll.
I just step off the back.
So what is that under? Is it fighting or something? What is it?
Hand-to-hand weapons. Well, basically.
Oh dear. Okay, so I'm gonna spend.
We'll call it weapons.
She doesn't see me. Let's just weapons or hand-to-hand. Which?
Yeah, weapons or hand-to-hand. Whatever's best for you.
I'll take hand-to-hand. This matters. I'm gonna spend 4. And I rolled a 4, so 8.
8. You ram up, you come up behind her, you stab her with the crucifix.
And I'm praying.
Now, this is your own crucifix they sharpened, right?
No, it is.
Or was this the one that the priest had?
That's the one that the priest had because he was full on praying. And I scooped it up, and I'm going to say I have 2. I'm going to have both.
There'd be like a fresh prayer on that one.
Yeah, so this one isn't designed. This one isn't designed for stabbing versus one that you might have that is designed for stabbing. So you try to jam it into her back. It jams into her. Give me it's going to be a D6, but it's
no +1 because
okay, -1 because it doesn't do a lot of damage.
So I rolled a 6. I guess you see that, but 5.
Yeah. Okay, 5. You jam it into her, and it snaps off as it jams into her.
So did you hear me when I said I was running with both?
Mm-hmm.
With his, okay, so is it snaps off? She probably spins around or something?
It just snaps off.
Does she?
No, it just breaks into her skin. Just snaps it off, kind of like the kukri bent.
Yeah.
The crucifix does the same thing.
It doesn't go into her skin.
It doesn't even go into her.
Does she spin
around? It
around?
just snaps when you hit her. She just kind of turns like this and kind of whips her shoulder and kind of chucks you back into the seat.
So do I have time?
Like right next to her.
When she turns back, so is there a way? So preparedness again. I've got a whole bunch of it. Can I spend a couple points to have a mouthful of holy water and just be like, and just as soon as she turns, before she hits me, spray holy water into her mouth, into her face.
Oh, nice.
Do I need to roll for that, or just spend preparedness? What do you need from me?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. I'd say just preparedness. You could just do it.
Okay. Yeah. So how many do I spend? Just 1, or does it matter?
Whatever you want to spend. Yeah. So you spit holy water in her face. It kind of drips in her hair, pours down her face, wet. There's a little bit of spittle in there too. It kind of sticks to her cheek a little bit. And she says, "Your God has no effect on me." As Mueller's walking up.
You know what will, though? You know what? I see him looming over her shoulder. I've got an idea. As I see him like,
Mueller, what do you do?
I step up. I look her in the eye as I walk up. I can't even say it. Auf Wiedersehen, mein Lieb. Pardon, it's been a pleasure. Click.
Shit!
No.
Quentin, you're laying in the tracks. As pieces of train car just fly over top of you. You see the wheel just kind of smoldering, burning as a train car flips on its side, skids down the thing. Henley, you're on the thing. The force of the blast causes Baru to pull the pin, and she falls back, slams into the thing. Give me an acrobatics check to grab the back of the train.
Oh no!
Hold on. What is my?
You don't even have to. You have a fucking chair. You're good. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I have the athletics chair.
Yeah. You almost get thrown off the train as you manage to grab the thing and kind of spin backwards off the side of the car, pulling yourself up on the back of the thing, as Henley just kind of spits as a shatter of glass just kind of goes into Henley's eyes, and a piece of metal just kind of cuts through his neck and finishes him off as he like kind of coughs a couple things of blood just as you pull yourself up on the train car.
Oh,
Yeah.
The collateral damage.
And just about that time, all of a sudden, your other characters, Lily and Dr. Mitchell, you kind of wake up. The light is terrible. It's in your eyes. You can't, Dr. Mitchell, you recognize what you're in. It's a hospital bed. The light is shining in your eyes. It's super, super bright, like one of the surgery lights. And then a face in front of the light for a brief moment. It covers up the light. It blots it out. And over top of you, it's like, hello, my beautiful. I'm so glad. Ryzen's so happy you've come back.
Oh my god.
And you guys slowly wake up, and you're in like this hospital ward, completely surrounded by a team of doctors, as a woman in a black velvet dress walks over, and she kind of takes a big goblet of what looks to be a vibrant red wine, and she drinks it, and she says, my children, I told you we're on the same side. It's Elizabeth Bathory.
Nice.
Do we all wake up or just some of us?
Yeah, you all wake up,
Okay.
and you glance over, and there's like one of these little tubes that has a body.
Blood, right?
And then no, it's like a big tube, like a beaker almost. It's probably about 15 inches high, has bubbles going up the thing. In it, you see Hans, or what the fuck his name is?
Han Solo?
No,
Microwave head.
Walter, I can't even
The
think his
headless
name.
vampire guy?
The headless vampire guy. There's like tubes running out of his neck into a body that's outside of the thing, and it's like trying to put him back together, and so she says, "We're on the same side. There's no need for these things to happen between us." It's like,
I know what
as-
like
as-
What was that?
and you slowly begin to wake up, almost like an anesthetic has come over you. Your heads are fucking pounding
I not
as
felt
hard as they
this.
possibly can.
I've not felt this since the last time I ate a gallon bag of mushrooms.
And all of you have resistance straps on your wrists and ankles
oh,
as you're strapped to the beds.
I'm just gonna unstrap myself as what is it? Just what skill would it be?
So we're strapped like this to the bed?
Yeah, you're strapped. No, with your hands
But
down.
your restraints, they're down. You're
Like a restraint, like a psych patient.
I look at the orderly. I do not think that I'm a masturbation risk. Can I be released, please?
Oh my god.
I'm like, I felt it. It's like I was pierced through my back. I was bleeding out.
Yeah, so
boom.
needless to say, an orderly kind of looks over her and she says, Johnny, it's time to calm down. There's no need for these problems between us.
Do I know what she's talking about? Like what problem?
I mean, you kind of assume you fucking hate her guts, so you almost blew up at her a little bit.
I mean, I would assume the problem is us keep trying to kill her.
Yeah, you like digging up information and stuff like that.
I'm just like, wait, you're friends with that Nazi over there?
We are not friends so much as acquaintances. He is, say, a wrench in the toolbox.
I mean, we had no idea he was off limits.
Oh, he was not off limits.
So why you
You
got
should
him?
actually be. You should actually be quite happy that he is being watched by my assets. Horizon let me know of you, and well, to be honest, you probably wouldn't be here without.
Well, I mean, we did cut his head off, and we had it in a bag, so I think...
I mean, a slight that he will probably overlook in time.
Yeah, so what I was saying is, I'm going to use infiltration to just get out.
Okay, yeah, you can get out.
just like loosen a little wrist and slide my hand out and then undo my other hand.
What's
Like
the
pull the
date?
little wires off and just like throw them on the ground.
What's the date? How much time has passed? How long have we been out for?
You have been here for several days. So as you kind of stretch or whatever, Lily, you need to make me a basically a health roll to remain conscious, because you are quite looking.
So do I spend health points? Is that how
You
it
can,
works?
but it makes it harder for you to make your next one should you make it.
That's fine. I'll spend 2.
So when you spend 2, that makes you have to go to -2 more in order to. That's what.
Yeah,
that's the way it
that's-
works.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm at 0 health. Is that what
You're
is
at
that where
0,
we're
yeah.
at? Or okay. So I got an 8.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean you managed to stand up and kind of pull yourself free. You feel a lot like that day that the vampire on the thing kind of drained you a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
When she
but yet
mentions,
you're revitalized a little bit.
when she mentions keeping the head in the bag, I turn to Evan. I say, "But it was a nice bag, right, Evan? It was a very nice bag that he put his head in."
What is this? What is this fucking Harry Potter bullshit?
Can I ask something? What was in the box that we opened then?
Well,
I'm on
as
the same
Sigmund's
page
right
with
to tell
Tesla.
you.
It was a box of bad
What
dreams then.
fucking box did you open?
Pandora's.
Well, you know,
She says, luckily, you managed to take care of Carmilla in her state. Should she have lived, I'm afraid either Lily or Dr. Mitchell would not be who they are now.
wait. So that was, what do you mean? So what, when you say took care of Carmilla, you mean on the train? Auntie M, Toto kind of thing?
No.
Like,
What you read was a manuscript written in her hand with occult writings in it that allowed her to actually bring herself back with the writing.
That would have been pretty bad.
So, had you not actually killed her in your sequence, she would have inhabited the closest female body, which would have been either Dr. Mitchell or Lily.
I turned and I
One
sort
of
of,
those is a lot worse than the other.
I turned to Tesla. I turned to Tesla with my eyes like, yeah, and I high five him.
So,
It was his bomb,
So
as
as-
always.
as Sigmund, as Herr Mueller said, or as Herr Walter said, things that were not to be released were in that vault.
Yeah, I just look over and I kind of like presumably loosen the things, and I'm like, but I'm not. I'm older than Lily, so I'm probably not really getting up. I'm like, you fucking crowd bastard. It's just like dancing around. You just can't fucking tell us anything. I throw a bedpan at the stupid tube.
It's just his head. It's just his head with fucking wires and shit.
I'm gonna go undo Evan's restraints.
She steps in front of you and puts her hands out.
Wait, what?
And she says, "It is best not to act too rash so soon. You just got back into this place.
I'm so thirsty, though.
He says it is important to rest up. You cannot complete the task that I have given you in your condition that you're in now.
Ma'am, I'm so thirsty, though, if you take my meaning, and I've had worse hangovers, to be honest. So
she's like, I'll have a fine red, and she kind of offers you her goblet.
I give it a snort. Is it blood?
Oh, jeez. Aren't you tied down to a bed?
I know. No, that's right. I am restrained, so I kind of sniff at it, like. Yeah.
Wow.
She kind of begins to tilt the glass.
Does it smell irony like blood? Does it smell metallic?
It smells like a really good red wine, but why don't you give me a stability check?
All right, that's fine. So I'm gonna just roll that flat. I'm not.
Evan with stability checks. Is that one of the things Johnny can do?
He rolled a 2.
I mean,
he rolled a 2.
I believe you can.
Evan, be strong. This is not the right thing to do.
My mouth
I'll
is
give you
watering. I'm just like I can. Yeah. I only rolled a 2. I'm not spending. I'm not.
You hope it's what you think it is.
She dribbles a little bit into your mouth, and it tastes so good, sweet like lilacs. You picture her naked.
God.
You're like, oh yeah, this is good.
I say something like,
you're like Street Scarlet has absolutely nothing on this shit.
I think best you keep me strapped down, because at this point I am a masturbation risk, madame. I say.
Well said.
Oh my God.
Evan, she's at least 1,000 years old.
I'm just gonna grab like a chair and sit down.
I just want to tell you guys, we don't actually tie people down because they're masturbation risks.
That was just off the cuff.
I suddenly don't believe. Suddenly,
though.
I don't believe you.
That's not a code. That's not a code or something.
We just draw the curtain, guys.
Maybe not in the MICU ward, because it's not a deathly masturbation risk.
So, as Tesla starts to think about it for a second, and like some of the trauma seems like he kind of disconnects from his own death as Henley. He's like, frankly, as far as I can tell, the only thing we learned from that fucking experience is that explosives work on vampires.
Yeah.
Well, then zombies are incredibly dangerous.
So I mean, I think we just double down.
She says, you have learned many things should you choose to actually listen to them.
I mean, we know that crosses are bullshit, and then garlic is bullshit,
That's
and
not
everything
true.
else is bullshit.
That's not true.
And nothing actually does anything. Bullets don't do anything. Knives bend and suck.
He says, Carmilla Karnstein is Alenia Dracula. If you hunt the big prize, you should expect a similar resistance.
So basically, only explosives will work on Dracula.
Not necessarily, just not the shit you had in 1948.
Well, no, what we learned from them is that if you run at Dracula with a cross and try to stab it with him, you get real experimental.
All right.
All you're going to do is die.
Go with me on this, Henley. I'm sorry, Tesla. Listen, we kidnap Dracula and we take him to North Korea, because I read in the papers that there's something going on with like nuclear tests. So we just put him there, right? With well, we don't leave Johnny there because it's Johnny, but we just leave him there, and then we're done. That's what we're up to then.
Wait, so we just drive by his house in a black van and toss him in the back and put a hood on his head.
Well, I mean, you don't have to make it seem silly, but yeah, something,
The question is, how has Edom ever even restrained him or kept him under control?
Like
before?
Likely they've not.
Or maybe they even haven't. Maybe they just cooperated with him.
Yeah, they're just cooperating with him. There's no way they could control him.
Is Carmilla? I'm sorry, is the Bathory still here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's standing right here.
I'm just like, so where's this whole free sharing of information thing that we had talked about before?
She says, I'm glad you asked. She said, she should be here right about now.
Oh no.
I'm gonna look around real nervous. I'm gonna look up at the ceiling because I know they drop from the ceilings all the time.
And you see like two guys in like tactical gear, like all black. Of course, they have like balaclavas on and like their helmets and shit like that, like special forces style guys. And they come kind of like through like one of those like flaps, those medical flap doors, and kind of come through. And behind her or behind them is a woman wearing like a brown blazer, a skirt, shoes, kind of a dark-haired ginger woman. And she kind of walks in and she says, allow me to introduce myself. She says, most call me the Hound. She says,
Hound.
She says, I'm Agent Zero of Edom.
Ooh.
And she says, Elizabeth has fed me some information. And she goes, I believe we are allies. It's time for us to stop acting like we are children.
Oh, right.
I'm sorry.
And that's
what was that last part?
She says it's time for us to stop acting like children.
Ah.
And squabbling over stacks.
Seems
And with that, it's 12 o'clock, so that's probably a good place to end the stream for the night.
very nice.